What's going on, everybody? This is Josh here with Zero Gravity, and today I got more stuff to go over than I possibly can in a limited amount of time. So I'm gonna do the best I can to cover the majority of it, and I want to get into a little bit of my thought process going into earnings, and here we go. So first thing I want to look at is this is the daily chart on Palantir. There's a few key things on here that I really have been focusing on as of late. As you know, trends always change and everything adjusts, but as you know, our volume is extremely low right now. It has been considerably dropping, and if you look at our past history, we've seen this quite a few times before. Now with the volume dropping, it creates a trend, right? And at the end of each one of these trends, we've seen a huge significant spike. Once the volume hits the lowest point, we see a huge spike. Now there's a few other things that come into play here. As of this day right here was our first demo day. So a couple days prior, we had a huge run up to our demo day. Back here was our first initial earnings. About a week before the earnings is when we started to have this huge run up, and then we had positive earnings, which created this huge catalyst for this move here. Now, we have had tons and tons of good news over the past few weeks, and as you can see, and as if you're in this and you're holding like I am for the long term, you've definitely felt the pain. The market has continued to push us down and down and down, and we just continue to see more and more good news. Like one of the things over the weekend, they just signed another contract with the Air Force for $32,500,000 on a fixed contract. Now this was just one of 4 contracts released over the weekend. Now we also, and that's government specific, we also had another huge deal with BMW that got released. But yet, as we look at the stock, it still continued to go down. So from this point here to where we are currently, there's no telling the amount of contracts that have been released, and they are just not simply accounted for. I don't believe in this price here. Nobody has accounted for any of these new big multi-million-dollar deals yet in the price or valuation of it. I believe most people are kind of waiting to see where earnings are and see where it progresses or where the company has progressed over the last quarter. Now, I think this is going to be absolutely insane. One of the big things I wanted to kind of go over with that is if you currently look at the options right now, the market makers are predicting a move of like $1 or less than $1 on earnings. And I think that's a huge mistake with all the positive sentiment, the lack of short interest on the stock, and the market makers are predicting a minimal move based on earnings, which everything on the chart tells me otherwise. Because this stock, when it reaches the end of this triangle here, probably right around the 11th, after we hit the bottom here, probably tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, we'll start seeing an uptrend again. And I think that's going to be the last time. Honestly, I think if you don't jump in here, you're not going to get another opportunity, in my opinion. And I'm not a financial advisor, so please take what I say with a grain of salt and do your own due diligence. But I believe after tomorrow or the next day, we're not going to see these levels again. We're going to see it go up, and we're going to see it go up hard. Now, one of the big things I wanted to look into today was last week that Palantir actually tweeted is the proud to power Centropy Tech and leading the next generation of oncology, data science, and cancer research in cancer. Now this is huge to me. As you know, anybody out there who's been affected or lived around cancer, we also earlier this year we've seen a huge run up of stock because they had put out a claim almost that people thought they had already cured cancer. But anyways, using Palantir technology to gather all the information and data from all the research done over the past few years and being able to put that into one place and consolidate it and make quick analyzation of it and be able to produce artificial intelligence, which that's going to predict future tests and trials and stuff like that as well. I think it's going to be absolutely huge. And if Palantir can work its way into a lot of these different research centers and institutes and be able to provide a source for them to consolidate all their research, I think that's going to be a whole nother level for Palantir. Now, we've seen more and more of this. As of today, Palantir appointed its first ever CMO, its Chief Medical Officer. He used to work for IBM. He also was a leading health health officer for a lot of big organizations like the CDC and stuff like that. So this guy has been around, and he's been at the top of his game for a long time, actually. So they probably spared no expense hiring this guy, and it's definitely for a big reason. And I think it has to do with their focus on getting into the medical field and using this technology to help end a lot of those illnesses that people have been plagued with for many, many years now. Now, one of the other big things that happened is they also did a PIPE investment. This is another huge PIPE investment from. This is the third one we've already seen this quarter. So Palantir is investing heavily with a lot of their funds into a lot of, all three of these so far have been SPACs, or special acquisition companies. So they're investing in the early stages of these companies before they've shown profitability, but these companies have definitely shown something that interests them, and we've been able to piece all of these together. Now, the others have been AI, artificial intelligence, robotics, and then Lilium with their aircrafts. Now here we have Rovient Sciences, I almost said sausages, I apologize for that. It's a biopharmaceutical, and healthcare technology company. Now, this company is, once again, in the healthcare industry, and I think that is right now is where Palantir is trying to send a lot of their focus, because they see huge amounts of opportunities for them in this sector. And right now, once again, the winner take most, Kathy Wood's thought process. If they get in now and they push and get into many of these businesses, they invest in a lot of these companies, they are going to own the lion's share, and it's going to be hard for any other company to come in after and try to compete with them. So I think they are making the moves, and we're getting ready to see the rewards from it, because none of this stuff has been priced in. Absolutely none of it. So I am super excited. Once again, like I said, I'm expecting this thing to hit this low point here again, about the 2160. It might not even come all the way down, but if it gets anywhere in this tomorrow and the next day, I'm going to invest heavy again. And this is going to be my last shot. I don't have any more bullets in the chamber. I'm going to put my last few bullets in there on some probably in the money options a few weeks out, and let it ride, because I honestly think this thing is going to go ballistic. Like, you got to think, how much good news have we had since November? How many new contracts have we had signed over the last, quarter that hasn't been priced in because we haven't seen that revenue yet that is going to be reflected in this revenue statement here? It's going to be absolutely insane. Plus, we're going to see all the new contracts from AWS, IBM. It's going to go ballistic. There's no other possibility. Their revenue is going to increase. I hope their margins soon to follow. Their earnings per share, I'm not worried about. I'm in this company for the growth, and I think it is one of the biggest and best growth companies out there. So that's all I care to see. Appreciate it very much, you guys, and I'll see you next time.